We good?
Yeah, I'm ready. Is Henry ready?
Is H ready?
Just go for it.
Hey. All right. I'm throwing it in. Welcome back to Between the Lines, brought to you by Ordira. Firstly, I'd just like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this land on which the podcast is made, the Yuggera and Yuggera people, and pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. Belle,
Kath.
lights out on the weekend.
How good? Both the AFL and AFLW. Brisbane Lions taking it home.
Brisbane Lions, we're feeling a bit better this week. We're up and about.
100%.
And we've got another amazing guest on today, Belle. You've got the honours.
I've got the honours. I'm enjoying the big, long intros. So we've got a bit of a different guest today. We have got one of the coaches on board with us. He's our backline coach. His name is Paul Henriksen. He's also known as Henry, or we like to call him H. He's a former teacher. He's been a commentator. He's a beautiful dad. He coached an under-18 All-Australian team. And he's been involved with the Brisbane Lions for seven years across the academy, the men's and the women's program. So, wow, H, wrap up.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, girls. I'm actually really excited to be with you because I have listened to a couple of episodes and I think you're doing a really good job. So I'm really looking forward to this next half an hour.
Me too, H.
I'm very excited.
You're very cool and calm. I feel like, I said commentating before.
A bit of experience here.
Yeah.
You might be trumping us.
That goes back 20 years ago, Belle, where we used to have a little radio show and it was live to air, which is, you've got to be pretty
switched on.
what's happening there because anything can happen.
I honestly tried to look some stuff up on YouTube just to show the fans, but I don't know if they had radios or YouTube back then because it's hard to find, H. It's hard to find.
Well, they had radios. You had a radio
obviously,
show.
Well, it's like I said to one of the girls during the week. They said, "Oh, did you go to university?" I said, "Yeah, well, I was a teacher. I did a Bachelor of Education. I went to university last century." And they looked at me and went, "What?" I said, "Last century." Yeah, I did during the 90s.
Get excited for comments like this throughout the show,
19th
guys.
century,
This is what H does. That's I've got here as well. You're a little creative comedian.
Oh,
Yeah?
yeah. That's an acquired taste for some. Some don't like it. Some do. I know the captain of our AFLW side just looks at me and says, "I'm sick of hearing dad jokes and things like that." But
She's the biggest dad joker out there.
Yeah, I know,
actually.
but
What
I
do you
just
mean?
think they're a bit of fun. Just
Yeah.
to liven up a little bit, don't you?
We love that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've had our first win on the board for this season. So against Port, we flew down there on Friday for the Saturday game. It was a pretty fun trip.
It was
I reckon.
good.
Yeah.
Good vibes all around. I think, coming out of a review with Richmond, it was a bit brutal, I guess, the review. And, we were all switched on, but kept the vibes high and we knew that we were there for a job and we got it done. So I really enjoyed the away trip.
I actually thought it was a great trip. Do you know one thing I learned over the weekend? Just how important premierships are. And you might think, well, where are you going with this? When Lauren Arnell came to our captain's run, she's a premiership player with our AFLW side a couple of years ago, it's pretty unusual, but she walked out the opposition coach and just the love. And, when you play in successful sides, you just got to look at each other. You've always got that connection for life. And even though she was the opposition coach and there's a bit of joking around about it, it was good to see Loz. And obviously she's her and Lexi she's pregnant, and it was just I just loved watching the vibes between the girls when Loz came out to say good day and hugs and kisses and that.
Yeah,
great.
I think so too. I know I saw her come out and I was waiting for the first person to go over and we all just kind of started migrating over and then Craig was the last one. And in my head I'm thinking, if this is any other coach, Craig's telling him to get out, to get lost,
That's
but
so true.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good pick.
I think it was just
really nice.
It's just something that stuck out to me over the weekend, but it was a great prep. We had a pretty strong review meeting last Monday and it was trained really well during the week. So everything went to plan really over in Adelaide.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the captain's run was really good. The energy was there and a bit of an early game this week. A little bit of got a little bit sunburn on the weekend, guys. Wasn't expecting it going back there. It was a bit cooler and came out with the sunburn. So I don't know how that happened. Yeah, I did. Crispy through here. Couldn't have the high bun, so I was all over the shop. But the win, we got up by, I think, 50 points in the end. So we sort of, really went to work early to try and, I guess, get our game on our terms a little bit.
And our brand going, which
Yeah.
was good. I know when we rocked up, it was a perfect day for footy because obviously we did captain's run. It was a bit
nice.
windy. We were ready for that. And then you and I, H, when we were kicking the ball, the ground was perfect. There was no wind. The sun was out. It wasn't too hot. it was perfect footy weather. So
And the sign on the boundary.
there was a sign
What
on the
was it?
boundary, and I said to H, it said a new state of mind. And I was like, H, look at that sign. I said, if I kick a goal around here, I'm pointing to that sign and I'm pointing to you in the box. First quarter, I've run on boundary, tap on it, I've smashed it, kicked a point. And I was like, damn it, that was opportunity. That was the opportunity. It
That was a
right near
great
the sign.
clearance too by Bell.
Right near the
Really
sign,
early.
but yeah, it was good, and I feel like lots stood out on the game. But did anyone in particular stand out to you guys?
Well, I think, from a defender's point of view, we were really happy with what the midfielders did. You guys were fantastic in there and really set the tone early. That pressure around the ball just made things a hell of a lot easier for everyone. And just you made statements. We changed a few setups and things like that during the week, but it really started from you guys. And I mean, obviously there's been a lot of focus on Dakota and what she brought up the front of the team. But no, I thought the midfield were fantastic, and Dakota, seriously, some of that mark.
Some great marks there.
I've had a number of people who are they're not huge followers of AFLW, but just marks like that, they go, you say, see? And I was sort of like, that was unbelievable, that pack mark.
Yeah.
That was as good as you'll see in any game of footy.
Yeah, that photo is so good where she's just hands up, and there must have been, I don't know how many was around it, like
People,
6 Port girls there. So pretty cool. And yeah, definitely Dax had a good day out, 4 goals, 6 contested marks. So she certainly, played her role really well. But I think, midfielders, we definitely wanted to come out and, I guess start to play our brand a little bit and drive that from the middle and from the start. Like I think that was, a pretty strong intention that we had coming into that game. So it was nice that I guess we got the ball rolling a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like we just set the tone in there. It was pretty good. And then obviously, we say at our club we don't lose milestone games, and you got Soph having her 50th, Ruby having her 25th game. And then for Soph to kick that first goal, I don't know about you guys, but it just felt like we're on here. We're on.
Yeah, you get a feeling really early in a game.
Yeah.
And Ali was obviously outstanding in the middle, and you guys as well, as I said earlier. But yeah, it really had a real vibe about it that they're on today. It's happening, and let's just hope we can repeat the effort this weekend.
For sure.
That's
And
it.
H, you just touched on a bit of change in the back line. Poppy Bolt's first game. How good did she do?
Yeah, Poppy came into the team this week. She'd actually done a little bit of work with the defenders early pre-season, but really the last 2 months she hadn't been near our line. She'd been working with mids and forwards and things like that, but we just felt she had a role to play on the weekend, and to play on Houghton was really good for us, and we just set her up to have a go at it. We thought that she's got some athletic attributes that would help our defence, and she was terrific, wasn't she? Her first contest was a spoil and then a tackle, and
So
she was
good.
right into it then, wasn't she?
We were
Yeah.
all up and about on the bench and on the ground too, getting around her. So that was awesome to see.
That was so good. She's so good too, though. I think just her energy, and she just gives anything a crack too. So I think just that attitude is, great coming into a team and just to be there and play a role and just give it everything you got first go. It's
She
pretty
didn't
cool.
go into a shell. Like I
Yeah.
spoke to her on Friday about a few things that she needed to perhaps think about, and like I was sort of like
Poppy.
thinking,
That's
like
Poppy.
she wasn't going to be frozen by the moment. She was just going to play with that will of I'll compete and give it a go and do it with a smile.
Yeah.
And it was great when the parents turned up too.
Yeah, that was
So
nice.
nice. Yeah.
With Ali Hampson, obviously, making her debut for the footy club as well. So, the parents turning up there Friday night, it was just a really good weekend.
It was.
Yeah, so good. Did you see Poppy's photo with Dax shushing the
Oh,
crowd?
yeah, she shushed the crowd in her first game.
Did you see that? So she certainly got a bit of confidence as the game went along.
Well, they do tell me they can get quite heated out there, and we're behind glass, so we don't know any of that. sort of
they
stuff.
don't-
We
those
don't know.
Port
We
supporters,
give
they
them some
are
advice about how to kick the ball and how
loud.
to mark the ball
Yep.
and
Yeah.
things like that. So
Yeah.
we don't see hear any of that. But
Oh, so good. We love that. Well, yeah, really good game. So on to this weekend, we're a bit of a longer turnaround, 8 days, and we're playing Sydney Swans this Sunday, 5 o'clock.
Let's go.
Last
So-
slot of the week.
First time playing them, Kath, so
Yeah.
it should be interesting. And I reckon all the teams in the comp have gone up another level, and Swans are one to do that. They won in the derby, is that what's called?
Yeah.
Against GWS.
Derby.
But obviously went down to Cats on the weekend. But I'm excited for this one. It's going to be challenging.
Should be. Hopefully, we get a few out here. People have said to me, 5 o'clock Sunday, but it's actually the start of the school holidays.
Yeah,
so
I did hear that today.
You would hope that a few get out and
Get down to sport.
players, the young kids don't have to go to bed and get ready for school because there's no school the next day. So hopefully we get a good crowd and really get a buzz happening here around BHA.
And get our first win here. That is a big goal
We're
for
on
us.
the hunt for the first win.
We are looking for
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah. They do. I mean, in terms of looking at the Swans a little bit more closely, they their last couple of games, like I think they have been able to really push through and sort of run the games out a little bit too, like maybe having that slower start but building into their games, and I guess maybe that's them just sort of building on their own sort of game and the way that they want to play a little bit too. So sort of taking it up to the Cats last week was, I guess, a pretty good result for them.
Yeah, I feel like with that one, Kath, I feel like the scoreboard doesn't reflect the game because they don't stop competing. You know, the first quarter they kick 4 behinds, Cats kick 5 goals. So, you know, a bit of accuracy and a bit of luck in that. The game's there. So, yeah, what do they finish the game? 5 goals 11 to 10 goals 8. So they're definitely getting a look, and I like that about the Swans. They just keep competing.
Well, for years the Swans have been known for that Bloods culture and things like that, and it's no doubt it's infused into their AFLW program as well. So their ability, Geelong jumped them on the weekend, and you thought, well, what's going to happen here? But they just kept fighting and fought it right out, as you said, Kath, to the end of the game. So, yeah, that'll be a challenge that we'll have to deal with this weekend.
Is there anyone that we're keeping an eye out for this weekend, or anyone that's jumped out in the last 2 weeks?
I've watched a little bit, and I was interested in the discussion around the Ruckman Morfitt. And she kicked a beauty goal. It was a great goal at North Sydney on the weekend. And again, it's even reflecting on last weekend. These young ruckmen that are coming through, and we've got a really gun player, in my opinion, in Taylor Hickey, but in that ruck for us. But these young ruckmen coming in, and they're not small either. They're all around 190, 188 centimetres. So I'm looking forward to seeing her play in real life. And obviously there's a superstar in the middle of the ground that's going okay.
Yes, that is true. Absolutely.
And Chloe Malloy, just on the ruckman too, she does a few fend-offs as well. She stays so active at ground level, so we'll be ready for that too. But yeah, Chloe's obviously a lot of respect for her, I think, across the whole league. We're just so crafty, dangerous forward, really gets them going around stoppage. So again, Kath, we'll be looking out for one.
We'll be looking out for her, and Newman as well. She's sort of been hitting the scoreboard as well the last couple of weeks, and Gardner as well. Pretty good work rate. We've got a little stat here.
Yeah, I got a little stat here. I was looking up her because she popped up when I was watching Vision and just worked so hard forward and back. And I was like, oh, where's she from? And Geelong. And she actually broke the record in 2021 in the VFL for most disposals. She got 49 in a game against Port Melbourne. So
is that the most ever?
Oh, she broke it. I don't know if it's been broken again. In VFLW, sorry.
Wow.
Yeah. So
what's the AFL?
Cool.
Nice one. Do you know that stat?
I have no idea. Do you
What's
know
that one?
AFLW or AFL?
Well, AFL, just out of interest.
I reckon Ali's got it. 42.
42.
There you go.
God, she smashed it.
So she definitely gets a ball and gets her plays involved with little handballs. So I'll be watching out for her.
Watch out for her. Awesome.
Another thing I noticed too, this is their first away trip. For us, it worked well. So
yeah, it is too.
We'll probably be looking out for that. But the ground at Sydney, I've heard it's smaller.
Yeah.
Where they've been playing.
It looks smaller on the vision.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is, but that's that's at North Sydney Oval. So, yeah, it's a smaller facility, and their contested ball's been really good, and their contest work's been extended. So, obviously beating the Giants in round 1, and then obviously Geelong got them last week. But like I said, it's just the competition now is starting to really close up in some aspects. I think it's getting closer.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Lions fans, we've got some exciting news to share with you today.
Our official Healthy Hearing partner, Audira, is offering Lions fans 20% off all their products.
These headphones are a total game changer. Listening to music or even our podcast is crystal clear with the sound that's tailored to your unique hearing profile.
You can even watch the TV with the volume at the perfect level for you.
Tune into the game and hear the mighty Lions roar like you're right there with us in the stadium.
So, Brisbane Lion members, visit our members benefits page to claim your exclusive 20% off discount on any Audira product.
Join the club today and feel connected with Audira. Best part of the day,
Here
the starter
it is,
pack.
the starter pack, H.
Have you heard of the starter pack, H?
No. What's the starter pack?
It's kind of like it's 4 little pictures, but we're just saying words that sum up H. So if you want to be H, this is the starter pack. Did you see the media team's one of Dakota on the weekend?
Sticky mints.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that kind of vibe.
This could throw me, but anyway, let's go for it.
Well, here's your first one, which is definitely you. Wearing a cap.
Yep.
Yep.
I wear hats everywhere.
You do.
And there's only about twice a year that I don't.
What are those 2 days?
Yeah.
What is it? Oh, no. I might do some Christmas photos without it. But it's just got a hat. I just love hats. I always have.
They do suit you.
And people always notice when I don't have a hat
Oh,
on.
yeah. The hat hairs.
Yes, it's been, well, I don't know when it was.
BNF.
BNF, yeah.
Yeah, Bell straight up. Oh, yeah, he's got a hat. Where's his hat?
You've got
gonna wear
beautiful
this
hair.
suit.
You got to show it off, H.
Just like my hats.
So that's a yes?
Yes.
That's a big tick. All right. The next one we have is setting up the drills 4 hours early.
Yes, that is correct, and that's something I've done.
It's called preparation.
Yeah, since I've been here at the Brisbane Lions with the men's group, I used to do that and turn up, and it was the running gag. Everyone has, as soon as there's many hats on the ground,
Yeah.
the AFL coaches will come and say, "Oh, you're setting up your drills 4 hours beforehand, and now you've got them out there now, and training doesn't start for 4 hours." Do you know there is an idea behind it?
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah.
So when
we want to know.
players turn up in their cars and they start walking around the oval, they start to actually think what might be happening at training.
I do
What's that drill there?
Yeah.
And what's,
You sort of try to suss it out.
So they're starting to actually pre-plan what might be happening at training. So there's a little bit of method behind the madness,
Yeah.
but it also makes me feel a lot calmer knowing that everything's set up. But I start to get a bit worried if I'm running out there because you got to make sure the players are coming first. So that's part of the coaching mantra.
Love that. Good
So
preparation.
So nice.
turn up and you're not ready. I think they think, well, coaches haven't been thinking much about what we're doing, are they? So that's
I
where
like
are.
that. So that's a yay?
That is a yay.
And awesome. All right, this one. Fumble.
Fumble. Yeah, no, well, that's...
Explain.
Explain, please.
ground ball, so important in AFL football and things like that. So what we do is do a lot of ground ball work, and I'll have fumble, I'll have snatchy, I'll have grabby, I'll have gut ball, I'll have chesty. It's about just working your hands around and making sure you're clean.
Yep. And if you're not clean, that's the word that you're going to hear.
You get fumble, and sometimes I'll play it really hard on people, and I'll
Yeah,
go,
get in their
that
head.
wasn't
We
a
know that.
fumble. But then what I'm doing there is I'm just mentally testing them. So when they go to the back of the group, do they come in with a bit of mindset, or do they come in really hot like, oh, that wasn't a fumble?
Yeah.
And just to see how they do and how they react to that. So there's, again, another little bit of method to that madness.
Is there anyone that goes straight into the
the
red zone?
The red zone.
I reckon I probably did the first few times.
Same.
Do you remember me with the bouncy, like the
the bobble ball.
bobble ball.
The bobble ball at the Gabba that
You
we used to
definitely got
play
me with
And
that.
it just bounces different directions.
Yeah, no, we used to have fun. Yeah, there's been a number of players that used to just really go off about, that's not it. But that's about how they play their footy, though. So the next contest, you're going to be sort of steamed up and a bit lighter and things
Ready
like
to
that.
rip in.
Love it.
Sophie Conway used to get going with me a bit.
Yeah.
She used to say, I don't think she'd worked it out. Now she's actually coming to me and say, give it to me.
Yeah.
And be tough on me
Yeah.
and tell me it's a fumble. Yeah, and things like that. So I like, whereas Sophie earlier I said, that wasn't a fumble. She's got through that now. And,
That's good.
and Bree just sort of rolls her eyes. Bree Conan, she doesn't even respond now. She just rolls her eyes like, oh yeah, right. And some of them just go back to the back of the group. They don't even
Don't
wait
even
for
listen
me.
to you. Yep.
So yeah, fumbles.
Perfect.
I
It's
love
in.
it. And last one we have is a quote. You're a bit of a quotes man or a sayings man, we feel.
Yeah,
Have you always been?
Yeah, I always have.
Yeah.
I've always liked all different quotes all in life. Like I think one of the ones I said early days is, if we do today what we did yesterday, all we'll get to tomorrow is what we've got today. And I remember wheeling that out at one of our early trainings, which
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, and they said, well, what do you mean by that? I said, well, if we just keep doing the same thing today, what we'll get tomorrow is what we've got today. You know, it's a bit of a like that. And I just think sometimes someone laughed at me last week because I said, you got to eat your Brussels sprouts and your broccoli as kids before you get your ice cream.
Yep.
And it was a bit about like, getting your work rate up, and then hopefully after, if you do all that right, you might kick some goals and you might get to have a victory, or you might have some success. But you've got to put the hard work in first and get through the hard stuff. So it's all a bit of that. I'm always thinking about that sort of stuff, and I just liked it, things
Always
like
make us
that, little
think
bits of
slightly
gold I try to
differently.
come up with.
Yeah, I think we love it too because
Yeah.
you are so funny and a bit of a larrikin, but you actually have so much depth and meaning to it. Like you said,
There's always something
method
behind it.
behind the madness. Like there really is. So that's what we had for your starter pack.
Thank you.
Do you reckon add anything, or are you happy with that?
Are we missing
I
anything?
think that's about it.
That's about it.
I'm pretty
Or
straight down the line.
I got one. The whistle.
The whistle.
Yeah, so
I don't know. Do you use it that much? You always have it, but I actually
It does hang
never
around my
heard
neck a
you
lot.
blow the whistle.
yeah, so I do
Just
carry
in
a
case.
whistle a lot.
It's on him right now for those listening.
Yeah, it is on my note. But the thing is with the whistle is it's probably been something because being a PE teacher
Yeah, of course.
by trade, it's just something that I always had. So it's a bit like a hat, I suppose. Like the whistles are there. And
Accessory.
He sleeps in 'em. I
do
heard he
have an
sleeps in
issue
'em.
with whiteboard markers. Everyone around the footy club. So I'm happy to be honest on this podcast. I have an issue with whiteboard markers.
Okay.
So when I left my teaching job, I came and emptied out 3 shoe boxes of whiteboard markers. I tend to just...
Wait, where'd you empty them?
Well, just into the middle of the staff room floor. So, unfortunately, Kathy, I can just walk past the desk and go, there's a whiteboard marker. And it goes
You're
in
a
my
hoarder.
pocket. I'm a hoarder.
You're a whiteboard marker
It goes in my pocket. Then I go home and I go, whiteboard marker. And it's like a bowerbird. So whiteboard markers are an issue.
All right,
for
we'll
me.
chuck that in there too then.
Put that in there. All right. I think you nailed it.
We got it. But like I was saying before, H, I probably would have added commentary in there. I really tried hard to find something of you commentating.
Yeah.
Couldn't. So I've got a bit of vision from the weekend and I'm wondering if you could just go, you reckon you're confident to just go live commentary right now?
Rightio, who's that? Where is it? What's
The main star is Dakota, of course. She gets a mark. But if you just press play, it's about 10 seconds of play. You ready?
Okay, right. So this is which
This
one?
is from the weekend.
Yep. Right, the ball goes through the middle. Here comes Fark. That's Kathy. Goes inside. If he goes short now. Handball, forward handball. Comes Ross trying to see. There's Postlethwaite. Goes for goal. Coming in. It's going to drop short. There's Davidson in the goal square. She'll line up for goal number 3 here at the Alberton Oval. Here she comes. Nice, relaxed. In she comes. Easy does it. Comes through, kicks the goal, pumps the fist, and there we go. Brisbane move on to 5-3, 33. Port Adelaide 1 straight goal. 6.
Oh my gosh, round of applause.
He's good. He's good.
There we go.
Get the cheer going.
That was awesome, H.
That is impressive.
I couldn't actually see a little bit on the phone. I was trying to guess there a bit because I was at
did
Kathy.
well.
I saw Kathy and it was a nice close-up. Anyway, that's okay.
I'm so amazed. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
that is
But
impressive.
that's when I do that when we do
done
our
it.
little games as well.
You do.
Like when we do little games, I'll go, and the ball comes out there.
Oh, God. Because you did do a fair bit of commentating and then you had your radio show. Is that?
Yeah, I did that 20 years ago and I enjoyed a bit of footy commentary. I did a couple of grand finals and that. So,
What was the biggest game that you commentated?
the biggest game? I think, and it would be known by a few people in Victoria, I commentated a Hampden League grand final, which was Koroit versus Camperdown. And Camperdown were about 7 goals in front at half time. And then Jason Misford, who came a coach at the Bulldogs and was at St Kilda, he actually pushed himself forward and kicked about 7 goals and they won the game.
No. Okay.
He
That's
just turned
cool.
it on. He just cleared out the 50 and said, just get it to me, I'll win the game here. And it was one of the, 2003, I reckon that was at the Reed Oval in Warrnambool.
Damn.
Wow.
That's cool.
Were you born then?
I was 2. But that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
I feel like we could talk here all day, but we'll keep it. We'll try and keep it
Zone
short
in.
and try to get through as much as we can
Here we go.
because you were a teacher, and I feel like you had a big teaching journey. You always talk about stories with that, but could you just tell us a little bit about that journey?
I think it's pretty simple, and what I enjoyed about that, I always wanted to be a teacher since about I was 15. So obviously went through Year 12 and into university. But the thing about teaching is that the biggest kick I get out of most things is helping people get to where they want to get to. I reckon that's a great thing to have in life, whether that's teaching or whether it's coaching. I'm happy if you girls go on and be absolutely superstars. I'm happy for you, but I'd love to know that you got a little bit of help along the way and we helped you with that as a coaching group or as a coach. And it's same as with a teacher. And you see a lot of people come through education and really I get quite emotional when I even go to Jonty's, my son Jonty's, he'll have school assemblies and I get quite emotional at that. I go, well, what are you getting emotional? Because I just know the journey of kids growing up and they're adults and they've got kids of their own now and things like that. So it's good that you can have an influence on people and most of the time, 98% of the time, you hope it's positive. So, yeah, I just think it's important in life that you help people get to where they want to get to.
So beautiful.
That's so nice. Earlier on in the season, we sort of shared a few of our strengths and achievements, I guess, personally. And something that popped up with you was something that I guess you really valued in yourself is your emotional sort of intelligence and that sort of connection with people. Has that something that's always come naturally to you or you've sort of developed over time through your teaching?
I think probably developed over time a little bit, Kathy. I mean, I just think that I tend to have a bit of I try to help people or recognise when people are a bit off. And the first thing that always comes to my mind is, how are you going? And that's a really important question. I mean, over the recent weeks, we've been talking about, are you okay and that stuff. So that space of how are you going and then listening to the response or seeing the physical response, because that'll usually tell you a quick vibe. If that's what Kathy usually says. Oh, Kathy put her head down and it wasn't sort of like, oh, yeah, all right. You just know that that's a trigger for you to go, no, I might just follow up with that. Are you sure? Is everything okay? You're right. And then sometimes you'll get the, no, well, it's not.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do in today's society more of. Just double check.
Checking
Something's
in.
a bit out of character.
Yep.
Geez, you're a bit down today. How are you going?
I feel like you've done that to me before and you've just gone, hey, what's up with this specific thing? Like you knew what I was feeling a bit down about, and I was just mind blown. I'm like, how did you know? And you go, I just know.
And we just don't talk about it, and then we say, oh, let's just go for a walk and look at the measurement of these goalposts.
Yeah, you say, let's go measure the goalposts, and we go walk.
So
And then all spill the beans there, is it?
Because we'll go for a walk and let's have a look at these measurements of the goalposts. What do you think? And while we're there, we're having a chat.
And I'm having a little cry.
Disarming you. It's the
Well, that's a
goalpost.
good point. Yeah.
You're very observant, I guess, as well, and that I feel like that you are, I guess, with people as well, but even with the game and the things that you bring, I guess, to us as a coach as well. Like, I feel like that, I don't know, like you sort of do sit back and you take it all in and, you know, I guess you come in when you've got something really specific. Like, you're not always there saying everything you probably think, but you're really specific, I feel like, when you come in and...
Yeah, I think that's... I was thinking of that other quote we talked, like the quietest pig eats the most.
There you go.
You know, where the little piglets are all... And the quietest one's just
munching
having
away.
its teeth and just getting all the nourishment, just taking
Maybe not
everything
munching.
in.
Yeah,
just taking everything in. Just taking everything in. And sometimes you just need to do that and just read the room, hopefully. Sometimes it's not always perfect, but sometimes you just get a bit of a vibe and just see what's happening.
Oh, I feel like our listeners are getting a good insight of you, you know, just like your random as quotes, but then so much insightful things. We said it before, you're a bit of a quote king. What would you say is the best advice for players, and what would you say is your best advice for coaches? Because I know doing coaching in the off-season, I've learnt so much off you as a coach. So can you give us a bit of that?
The coaching one's been really important for me over the last 7 years because Chris Fagan and Stas are really big on reading, and you know, Fags used to give us a book and we'd be reading it and doing a review on it. It wasn't just put it in the back of the cabinet. So I suppose it's all about growth and getting better. Mm-hmm. And probably for a player, you've got to be getting better. But getting better means that there's going to be things that are not always great and it's not always going to be sunshine. But what you're doing is preparing yourself for the days where it's rainy, the days of the sunshine, but you have to be working at it. And no one ever gets any better if they don't work at it. And so just getting that little bit of improvement every day is a key to everything in life.
I love that.
And the other thing I'd say as a coach, I don't know it all, and neither does any other coach. Mm-hmm. We all need to keep learning and growing because there's things I don't know.
Yeah.
And be acknowledgement of that.
Yeah.
So.
I love that.
God, we're learning so much here today. I'm going to write it all down.
Literally. Can you also give us a bit, like obviously you have worked in the men's space, and I know when we had you for our first hat session in that little Gabba room, the little field, we were like, who is this guy? So much energy. And we instantly just loved you. And, you know, it's called Hats. Yeah. We call it Henry and the Sisters. But was there a difference for you coming into the women's space? Like,
the biggest things that I noticed coming into the women's space, I'd obviously watched it from afar, but I was in the men's space, but watching from afar, there was things I had to get used to. Like the first game I went to was RSCA where we played St Kilda in a pre-match game, and everyone was watching me because I was in the corner because suddenly there was a mini disco, a sing-along going on before you ran out. And I remember everyone just looking at me like, how's he reacting to this? How's he reacting to this? This is unusual. And I said, I don't think I said to someone, are they switched on? Is this what they're doing? Are they ready to roll? Or what?
That would have been a bit of a shock, actually.
It was a bit of a shock for me. But the thing with energy and coming into coaching is that I think that coaches owe that to their playing group to come in with enthusiasm and energy, because if they're not, that's actually saying, do you want to be there? Mm-hmm. And we asked a lot of our players, and we asked them to always, as I said, get better, but we got to give something. And if we turn up and go, oh, righty, you're doing this. Oh, yeah, hum, ho, hum. The players are going to say, well, what's going on here? Mm-hmm. So you need to come in, even if you're feeling down, you just put the head on and let's get the energy up and let's get some bubble happening.
You definitely do that,
Yeah,
H.
absolutely. Bring the energy all the time. Last one, just a little bit outside of footy. You've recently completed a run from here to Perth.
That's
Is that correct?
Yeah.
How many Ks is that?
It's about 4,200. So I started this run about September 2021.
Yep.
I just started running.
Ticking it off.
It's like Forrest Gump. I just ran.
Keep going.
I just ran. So I just started running, and it just cumulatively just said, I'm going to run to Perth.
Build it up.
Because the premiership was over at Perth at the time. It was going to be at Perth at the time, the grand final, Melbourne and the Bulldogs. So I thought I'm going to just run to Perth.
Wait, you literally ran to Perth? We just ran the Ks.
I've just run the Ks. Come on.
That's like Ned Brockman.
No, I'll do it on my...
Yeah.
So
sorry.
So no, I'm up to 4,200 kilometres on my little ASICS WhatsApp. So anyway, that's it's been great. And it's been great for my health, and it's been great for just it's part of my life now. So just running, even if it's 5Ks, 6Ks. Grant Birchall comes with me sometimes, the AFL runner. Some people do. You know, we just go for runs.
We always see you out there.
The run club, yeah.
Fucking up.
5 to 10Ks.
With your AirPods in, what do you listen to other than our podcast?
No, I just listen to. You probably don't need to know what I listen to. I listen to like politics and all this sort of stuff. So
That's good.
All right, well,
Everyone's got their own things.
I'm going to get into a little bit of a quiz with you and Kathy. But before I do, there's a bit of controversy in the back line regarding your favourite. So can you clarify that for us?
Yeah, so that's Nat Grider and Bree Conan about who's the favourite. But there was just there was a note on my desk that was our IDP, and it had "from your favourite." Anyway, Nat was sitting across from me, and I knew it was Nat's writing. So I just said, "Oh, from your favourite." I said, "Oh," and I just walked up and saw it. I said, "Oh, Bree Conan's just dropped this off," which has started all types of issues, and it's still like little barbs here and there. Who's your favourite? Why aren't you talking to her? Why are you playing with? Yeah. Oh, come on! But that's where it started from.
Love it. So we still don't know.
I knew
but
exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
No, they're fantastic.
I love
all
it.
of
You were
them.
sparking the
She
fire there.
told me to chuck that in there, so that's what we
I
get
do
in
like
that.
that.
Sorry. All right, now onto the real stuff, the quiz. I need a buzzer from each of you guys. So buzzer.
Quack.
Quack. Ding. Ding. All right, there we go. All right, I've worked on my questions, guys.
Oh,
so
God.
here we are. Who is the author of the Harry Potter series?
Quack.
Ding,
J.K. Rowling.
Yep. What food does Popeye eat?
ding, spinach.
Oh, yep.
Ooh, that's good.
How many teeth does an adult human have?
Ding.
Quack.
No, H.
32.
Oh, yes. All right. Which actor played the Prince of Bel-Air?
Ding. Will Smith.
Yep. Kathy.
I do not know movies besides Harry Potter.
It's a shock.
That's so bad.
What are the three primary colours?
Quack. Red, yellow, blue.
Yep. What are we on, two each?
I think you're on 3. aren't you?
H is on 3.
I don't count.
All right, this is a who am I? Who am I? I have luscious blonde hair. I'm left-footed. Play in the back line. Wear number 10.
Quack. Nat Grider.
And I'm retiring.
Oh, my God. Dan and Rich.
Yep. Wait. What's that?
You definitely gave me that one, didn't you?
Okay.
3
That's
each.
3 all.
3 all. Oh, I had one more
you
question,
gotta-
but it's
you gotta decide it.
I had one more. This is an easy one. What is the name of the actor who played Jack in the Titanic?
Ding. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, H is on fire. Put in his starter pack.
All right.
Trivia master.
Trivia.
I didn't give you Dan Rich. That's a very good question. That was a cheeky question.
Yeah,
too,
it
'cause you
was.
said, that was a
She
bit
was
of a
leading me to
I
know.
thought she was going Orla. I thought that for a start.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
going Orla, left footer. Yeah,
I know, and
then you went
the
back
last bit.
line.
But anyway, thanks for coming on today, H. I feel like everyone's got a good bit of insight from you, and I know we love having you here, and it was great to have you on the podcast today.
Thanks for being. Loved it. Thanks
Thanks
for
for being here.
Bit of
We're on
fun.
your show now.
Yeah.
No. Right out.
Well, we have our game on Sunday. So memberships and tickets are on sale for this weekend at Brighton Homes Arena at 5:05 p.m. this Sunday. So get down there. We'd love to, as H said earlier, get a crowd down there, get as many people watching. Yeah, really excited.
Love it. And the VFL final? Is
The
that on?
VFL, yep, the boys are playing in
Werribee.
Werribee. So good luck to those boys. Get around them. And lastly, just thanks to everyone for tuning in today, and subscribe to Between the Lions on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or lions.com.au. Thanks, guys.